Good morning. It's been a while since we met. We hope that everybody has had a good 3 months, considering that everything has been going on. But it's good to be back and excuse me again. Be able to see we can take care of business. To see we can improve the quality of life of the veterans and maybe some even future veterans. So let's go ahead and follow the agenda. And I need to get my glasses, that they don't work very good, but they're better than nothing. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? Face the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. If you will please remain standing while it's not on the agenda, we'd like to take this time to honor those that have left us. We've had several veterans that have passed away. We have some very good friends that have passed away in the last 3 months. But also we'd like to take a special time also to remember the Ukrainian people that have been struggling for the last almost 2 weeks, and to kind of recognize what the world is at right now, and something that we don't think about too often, but that could happen to us. We don't have any generations in the United States that knows what it is to fight a battle in our own backyard, and we don't want to know. So I'd like to take this moment of silence to honor those that have passed away in fighting for the freedom in the world. Martinez? Mr. Alvarez, I'm sorry.
Heavenly Father, we ask thy blessing on all who are here assembled. We pray for your guidance, deliberations. May we exemplify the principles and purposes of our beloved America. We ask thee to bless our guests, to protect those and bless those who have served our country. Grant that we may grow, prosper, in the humane purpose and principles upon which we exemplify. Grant that we may serve our community, state, nation, for the good of all mankind. May the strength of God sustain us. May the power of God protect us. May the hand of God preserve us, and the light of God show us the way. And may the love of God be with us all, always.
Amen. Thank you. You may be seated. Marshall, can we have a roll call?
Yes, sir. American Legion 459. Mr. Gomez. Catholic War Veterans. Disabled American Veterans. Mr. Contreras, not here, and Mr. Cantu's not here either. Korean War Veterans. Mr. Sanchez. Laredo Veterans Coalition. LULAC Veteran 777, Mr. Velez here.
Present.
Marine Corps League, Mr.
Present.
We're South Texas, Afghanistan, Mr. Lopez is here. Valor, received a phone call from him yesterday, sir. He was at a doctor's appointment, and his alternate was also going to be excused.
Okay.
Veterans of Foreign Wars, Mr. Sad. Webb County Sheriff's, Webb County Service Office, Mr. Garcia's here. Okay, sir, you do have a quorum.
Thank you, sir. At this time, we'd like to entertain citizens' comments. Anybody that has signed up or have not signed up. If you have anything that would benefit the quality of life or improve the quality of life of our veterans, you're welcome to speak at this time. Do we have anybody?
Sir, we do have quite some speakers, but they want to speak on the actual item.
The actual item. Very good. Yes, sir.
On any item that will benefit,
Absolutely.
it's not on the agenda.
It could be an announcement.
But in the citizen comment, you can speak about anything that it's,
Okay.
especially in the agenda.
Okay, Jesus Segovia for the record. Back about 3 years ago, 2018, we used to have a indigent program for the veterans that needed money for electricity, rent, and Mr. Joe Soto was in charge of that. Unfortunately, because of non-paid employee taxes, IRS came down and confiscated they took all our money from the banks, and they stopped the program at the city and the county. So the funds were held at the city and county, if I'm not mistaken, right, David?
Yes, sir.
And so Mr. Soto, out of his kindness or goodwill, he went ahead and paid off the IRS 30-something thousand that was pending. Employee taxes, in my opinion, should be paid by either the city or the county. It was left up to him to pay those employee taxes from the same funds that he was getting to help veterans, okay? And he didn't have enough money, being that at that time, a lot of Afghanistan, Iraq veterans were coming in, and he needed more money to fund all these veterans that needed assistance. So instead of paying the taxes, he would help the veterans himself. And he even went like a month without his pay so in order to help out more veterans. Now, I'm coming to this deal. I talked to one of the girls that knows all the ropes, as far as how to qualify a veteran to get assistance. And she told me that she's willing to go back, and do it if we can establish an office for her and get those funds again from the city and the county. And I was thinking about David's office. But then again, David's office is very restricted right now as to who can walk in there, okay? So maybe we can discuss this further on with our city officials, county and city, and see if they're willing to establish that program back, because there's a lot of veterans in need right now. And I'm telling you, because I get calls, personal calls from veterans that say, hey, Jesus, can you please help me? I'm running out, they're going to turn off my water. And I say, look, I'm not in charge of that, but I direct them to the right people. So this is just something that I think that I need your assistance on, all city council, commissioners, and see if we can establish this program back together. And like I said, the person that used to take care of this is willing to go back to that job that she used to have. And I don't know who to bring this proposal to or this suggestion to. Maybe Vanessa or other city council people can look into it, because I know that the funds are being held right now. And if we can help these veterans that are in need, it would be great. That's it.
Do you have a number on how much money is being held?
Well, they started, if I'm not mistaken, David, you have
Yes, sir.
more figures than that.
At the county, I think we were down to, I'm gonna say 50 or 60,000.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know on the city
Every year
side.
they brought it down a little
Yeah,
bit.
I
They brought
think-
it down a little bit every year. And so I think it was like 50 or 60,000 at the end from the
Right.
from the county,
Yes, sir.
and about the same amount from the city, or 40 from the city. And that was not enough, because from that money that they got, they had to pay the rent, they had to pay their light bills, they had to pay the phone bills, and they had to pay the two girls' secretaries and Joe's salary, So, I mean, a lot of that money that was supposed to go to indigent veterans went to payroll and office expenses. So if we can get Marta, who used to be in Joe's office, I called her and she said, yes, well, I'm willing to go back and help with that veterans indigent, program. And maybe she can get an office at the city or somewhere where it's accessible for veterans that can come up and show them that they're gonna have their light bill turned off, they're gonna have the water turned off. And, I think this is very important.
You know, I'm glad you brought this up, Güero, because I have been hearing something about this, and I didn't realize that the money was that substantial at this point. There's a lot of questions that need to be asked. You know, where's the funding coming from and things like that. So it's something that I think that we need to put on the agenda next
sir.
meeting, because it is an important subject that we need to handle, because there is a lot of rumors going on about what happened during
Yeah.
that time, and.
See, and a lot of people don't know that it was due to the, you know yourself, you're a businessman, you know that you have to pay your employee taxes
Absolutely.
or you're out.
Yeah, and I had heard some rumors about that, but never this particular part of it.
Yeah, and
So-
there was a local veteran going around, and I pray for him because he's been declared, he's got cancer, you know?
Right.
And I hold no grudges on anybody, but he kept going around, dirtying my name and Joe Soto's name, that we had stolen the money and that left the veterans without money.
I heard that
That was-
also.
That wasn't the case. The case
Right.
was, IRS came down on us, and even though I was on the, I was the chairman for the membership side, and Joe was the one in charge of the indigent program, I still got, you know, smeared with it. But I praise Joe a lot because he did a lot for these veterans, and not only that, but he went without about a month without paying for himself.
And that's why, that's why we have this committee here, to be able to take care of issues like this, you know, and that's why I've said from the beginning, whether it's on the agenda or not, we need to speak out, because otherwise it's just gonna be going on and on and on. And there's a very, very worthy, program that we need to do, but more important, it will clear the names of some people that have been going out in the city, you know, about what happened to that money, whether it was stolen, like you said, you know, and we don't need to have any veteran, anybody to be smeared with something that is not true.
That's right.
So it would behoove us to put it on the agenda and have the right people to come in here and explain how this program works and how we can reactivate this program and see how we can continue helping our veterans that we have in our community. And there's a lot of organizations that help. You know, this committee, it has the ability to be able to take care of these issues. We just hope to be able to continue, and hopefully we'll be getting more people to show up so that we can continue to help our veterans. And when we help our veterans, we're actually helping our community as a whole. So thank you for your comments, Güero. Yes.
Since you bringing it up for Mr. Segovia, veterans been calling to get assistance. So the CAA has a utilities assistance program, if they need. So on the Webb County side, I don't have their number, but it's the Webb County CAA department. So they have for utilities for veterans, not rent assistance. On the rent assistance, there is a statewide, it was organization for rent assistance. It's called COINed. And in the meantime, while we establish whatever we need to establish or help whatever we need help with, Mr. Victor Salazar from VTN, right behind you, that's part of his job, is to network all those resources and put them out for the public or the veterans to know, because it's Texas Veterans Network. But in the meantime, I don't want to say an easy solution, but you can just let them know the CAA and that the coin project. The coin project, they can go through my office. They can go through I believe the city of Laredo too. And if not, for sure at Mr. Salazar's office. He's in LC, Laredo Community College.
Okay.
So for now, at least.
Then I think this information needs to be passed out so they know exactly where to go, because
Yes.
they
So
want to go in
yeah.
person. A lot of this, a lot of veterans don't have a laptop or computer where they can sign in
Yeah.
and Google, what they need to do. But
As far
I
as
think
I'm
we need
aware,
we need an office where they can walk in and say, mira, aquí está mi bill del
Yeah.
agua, me la van a cortar.
so there is, that would be Mr. Salazar's office. They can always come and ask at our office, but the paperwork is done at the CAA. The coin one, we'll do that one because it's out of
And
state.
who does the check-in and the approval that they call?
The CAA does.
That's.
Yeah, and I don't think Mr. Salazar's office does that.
I believe it, the Community Action Agency, I believe it's Ms. Prado that does that.
Ms. Prado?
Okay, well, we'll just go ahead and put this item on the agenda next,
Yeah, but
next
for,
meeting.
si te hablan in the meantime, just send them that way. We can do the coin, and on the coin project, that's for rental assistance.
Yeah, because the main idea was to have an office where they can walk in and say, mira, necesito
Yeah.
esto. And then Martha communicates with these people and say, mira, aquí están los bills, I need to do this and that.
Right.
But at least a place where they know they can go and walk in like they used to
Yes,
with
yes.
Joe Soto and fill out the application. And the need that they need, the
Yes.
need that they're going through.
Like
and
a
so-
one-stop shop,
and
instead
yeah,
of going to
one-stop
3 different
instead of-
places.
so-
Yes, I agree with you on that. I'm just saying in the meantime, so they don't go through hard times,
Yeah.
you can refer them to the CAA. I think they're Lily Perez, over there by the city.
I didn't know all this.
Yeah, well, si te hablan, just let them know, Mr. Segovia, utilities would be down there. Rental assistance, we can do the referral because it's in the state, but it's up in Dallas, so we can do that. It's not we've been doing it. And any information, or they can go to Mr. Salazar's office and he can assist them with the referrals also,
That one.
okay?
Okay.
And at the end of the day, just have them call, ask for me now, we'll help them
Yeah,
out.
but my idea is to go have a central office
yeah.
where they can go and then Martha.
Yeah, so not
also-
3
also-
different
also,
offices,
yeah.
or they see
Having 3
one.
different.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the city to put in their share, the county to put in their share like they used to before. And hopefully we can raise it to, let's say, 75,000 from each entity, so the money is right there, for immediate help. And the way, as you know, the way Joe used to do it, he would get the bill, do the amount
Along,
needed
yes.
and bring it to you.
Yeah.
You would pass it on to,
Yes, sir.
you would pass it on to.
To the auditor's
else,
office.
And they would write the check and pay it out. And
Yes,
then
sir.
Joe would go pay,
Yes, sir.
So that was a good program, so maybe we can get it back.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for that, Mr. Segovia. Yes, sir. Just wanted to clarify a few things real quick. I don't think I've ever mentioned what I do on my civilian side here, but I work with ACOG, Alamo Area Council of Governments, and we got a $2 million grant to establish a program down here in Laredo, Corpus Christi, and San Antonio called Texas Veterans Network. What we do is, Mr. Garza hit it right on the head there. We're a one-stop shop for our veteran community, for our dependents, active duty National Guard. They need services, rental assistance, food assistance, anything you can think of under the sun, we can help them with. We can connect them to those services. As far as rental assistance, we work with 2 organizations, Endeavors and CLC, the Coin
The
Project.
coin project, yes.
So CLC, the Coin Project, is directly affiliated with combat veterans, but that's okay. We also have Endeavors who work with all veterans and dependents. So we had a gentleman called us last year. He wanted a piece of land to live out in the middle of nowhere. And somehow, through the magic of networking, we got him half an acre. He set up shop out there. He wanted to be left alone. I don't say we perform miracles, but we do everything under the sun to get our veterans what they deserve. And that's what we do. If anyone needs my services, I'm located at Laredo College, and I have a ton of business cards in my truck. I can go get them after the meeting and pass them out. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Alvarez. Mr. Lopez?
Yes, sir, thank you. For the record, my name is Gabriel Lopez. Just want to make this announcement. I know I have an item on the agenda regarding the employment for veterans, but I wanted to entertain the idea that I've been working on for a few months now, actually a couple of years. By 2025, the Texas Workforce Commission is projecting that in the state of Texas alone, 60,000 drivers, CDL drivers, are going to be needed. Laredo is the #1 largest inland port. It is our #1 industry. Yet, we don't have a program where a veteran can go and get their CDL license. CDL license is not covered by the GI Bill nor the Hazelwood Act. Okay. Laredo Community College has a program for CDL, but it costs money. Okay. Now, what I propose, a solution for this is that we somehow create a program using tax dollar money so that a veteran can come in and get a license for CDL, okay? We have the jobs here in Laredo. Okay, but the reason why so many veterans are getting disqualified with the existing programs that we have a program at the Texas Workforce Commission, but it uses federal dollars. We have a program with the city and we have a program with the county. Those three programs are for the general population. However, they are based on income to qualify. In order for you to qualify, you have to be 200% below the poverty line. Most veterans will have two, three jobs. One job will surpass that. So we need to come up with a design a program that will target veterans from all campaigns to get their CDL license and put more revenue back into the city. And I would like to enter that just for the record, that we do need a program for CDL, commercial driver's licenses for our veterans. Veterans like to drive. They go out there, they'll hustle. But we need to give them that opportunity. We need to be able to open the gate for them so they can access their license. A license, CDL, if you go out in a commercial school, will run you about $9,000. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lopez. That's something that we need to address also at our next meeting. There is several CDL licensed companies that are operating in Laredo. And the price does vary. There's one right now that is charging around $4,500. They're gonna be operating out there off of McPherson.
Mr. Chairman.
So there's plenty of opportunities out there, but there's so many programs. I'll be right with you. There's so many programs out there that we need to be able to bring them to the forefront and make sure that everybody, the veterans and the community in general, know what we have. Maybe what we need to do is just combine some of these programs so that we can have that one-stop shopping that we're talking about, and being able to put out the word. A lot of us don't know that these programs are available, and that is one of the problems that we have. And that's something that I hope that this committee is going to be able to bring it up to the forefront and make it available as far as information is concerned. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, so just to kind of echo off of that, my suggestion for the next meeting would be to have the one-stop shop as an agenda item, but also to invite people from the different entities to be present, like maybe have somebody from Laredo College here. I know that we just did the CARES Act program with the Laredo College, so maybe we can write some language in there for the future, and then maybe there can be some modifications for this current round of maybe designating at least a portion of that, those available enrollments for veterans. So my suggestion would be for next time to have somebody from Laredo College here and somebody from the county who can talk about these programs, somebody from community development at the city. So I don't know if Mr. Liaison, if you can set that up for us.
Yes, ma'am, I'll reach out to him. I'll get
Yeah,
some.
there's also somebody at Laredo Junior College also, or Tammy U, that has information on how to get the college for the children of the veterans. And there's several ways where now it can be divided among children, where whatever amount is available can be distributed. And that information is not readily available. It's in the websites here and the websites over there, but it's really not made public more often than what it should. So
Yes.
You're right, ma'am. We should be able to have all of that. So with that said, and that is the purpose of this committee, to be able to get these ideas out here. And while it might not be in the agenda, we do need to bring them up so we can put them on the agenda and make it official. Thank you very much, everybody, for your comments. But let me go back now and ask for a motion to approve the minutes of the November 9th, 2021 meeting. Any additions, corrections, deletions? I'd like to entertain a motion to approve them as presented. Motion, Mr. Lopez, we have a second? A second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, say nay. The ayes have it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
First item for discussion of the agenda, since we had the communications and comments already all in one. We have discussion with possible action regarding a resolution in support of training facilities for Martin High School JROTC and any matters incident thereto. The agenda says ROTC, but it was a typo on my bad that I didn't include the J on it. But this particular item, we were approached by, several veterans were approached several weeks ago about being able to enhance the training facilities for our JRTC program at Martin High School and in the city of Laredo in general, if it need be. As veterans, we know how important it is to be able to train and train well. This JROTC and ROTC programs that we have throughout our education system enables our future veterans and people that are going to defend democracy and freedom in the world to be able to be the best they can be. No pun against the Marines or anything like that. But, that's the best one, right? The best you can be, right? But anyway, there's a lot of incentive by being in the OTC. When we have less than 10% of the population in America having the privilege and honor of being called veterans, and when we have a ready-made group of individuals, men and women, that want to serve our military, the way things are going in the world right now, we don't know which direction it is. It is very important that we continue to have a very strong military. And if we can do anything to enhance the training of these young men and women that want to be part of the military, I think that we should be able to participate and do whatever we can to help the Laredo Independent School District in this particular instance, in this item, to see how we can help them to enhance the training facilities. The training facilities that we're talking about is not only going to be beneficial to the ROTC or JROTC members, it can be a revenue source for LIZ. They can have competitions where people can come in here. I mean, with interlocal agreements, which is a wonderful thing that we can have. I mean, even some of the law enforcement firefighters can use this facility if it comes to fruition. This particular training facilities that we like to see put up at Martin High School is really very extensive. That would help our future military men and women not only become better, but what I understand is if you graduate from one of these programs, you will automatically get one pay grade once you join the military. But I believe we have somebody here that would like to speak about it a little bit, and maybe they can put a little bit more light on this problem. Yes, sir.
Thank you. For the record, my name is Valentin Reeves. Thank you, Mr. Vela, for putting this line item up, and Mr. Güero Segovia. Historically, in 1760, black men got the right to vote, but only if they owned property. That's discrimination. What about the other black people? In 1870, blacks could vote, but then again, you had to take a test. And it's always been like this. Wait, be a good black man, be a good boy, be a good Hispanic, wait. Be a good Indian. And in the 1920s, women finally got the right to vote. Women. Our women. They were also told to wait. And then in 1965, we had the Voting Rights Act. But still, Hispanic women couldn't vote because they had to learn how to speak English or take a test. Wait. Be a good Mexican. Wait. We're working on it. We're talking about it. Wait. And then it wasn't until in 1943, Native American veterans that came back from the war could not vote. My people, our people, they couldn't vote. And then in 2019, finally, Native American Voting Rights Act, 2019. It pisses me off, I'm sorry, that my people just barely got the right to vote. And now, we have the TEA that mandates CCMR, college career military readiness. Military readiness, okay? I'll give you an example of people that have been waiting to get recognized. In 1967, the singing cadets of Martin High School paid for every single thread in their uniform to go compete in a five-state champion. It was a Fourth Army competition and involved 5 states. They paid for every single thread in their uniform because LISD could not help them with money. The only help they gave them was $9, ladies and gentlemen, $9 for a 4-day trip in New Mexico. $9 LISD, $9. How far could that get you? In the peak of racism, when our people were being charged double or triple the price for food, and then you had to go to the back door to get it. They won that championship, that 5-state championship. With all the hardships, they won. And to this day, our coalition, because I'm the president of the Martin High School Coalition for JROTC, instead of being a booster club, we advocated for their needs because they didn't have a training facility. They had won a 5-state championship. They had won a second-place national champion in '72. And they won a first-place national championship in 1973. And still, our JRTC cadets had no training facility, no restrooms, no showers. They have $1 million facilities for baseball, for football, for tennis. They even bought a $1.5 million swimming pool and renovated it for $800,000, and they didn't even have a swim team. And they just threw at us $120,000 just barely. Last month in December, 2 months ago, we finally got permission for our kids to be allowed to use the restrooms and showers and lockers of the other facilities. Apenas. And that's why we're inviting the veterans to join us, to fight for them. We have an oath, a never-ending oath. These are our future veterans. But then we have house slaves in the system of LISD that are fighting us. They're fighting us because we're bad. Because we're using the kids to speak up, to use their First Amendment right of free speech. They're going to the board and they don't like it. They don't like the kids to go to the board. They went so far that the superintendent called Cadet Command and told them the kids are rude and disrespectful and they're out to vote out the board members of LISD. That we are using the obstacle course as a tool to recruit people into the military. How evil is that? I'm not using it as a tool to recruit kids. We're not. They don't understand us. They don't understand what we've been through, and we don't want them to be in the front lines anymore. Historically, minorities, Hispanics, blacks, the working class have been sent to the front lines. Why? Because if they don't pass the obstacle course, where do they put them? Where the military needs them. In the front lines. I want our kids to be doctors, lawyers, attorneys, veterinarians, police officers. They don't have to be in the front line. They don't have to be in 11 Bravo like me. They don't have to be a paratrooper like me. That was my choice because I didn't know that we had better choices. And we want our kids to learn right now here in a nice, peaceful setting where 2 points of contact, 3 points of contact, 2 hands, 2 feet, you can get over that obstacle. The 10-foot wall, the 25-foot rope. They don't understand the feeling when I see a kid and I train them that they made that obstacle. They got over that 10-foot wall. They climbed that 25-foot rope all the way to the top and slapped the top of the beam. Because that's not me recruiting kids to go to the military. That's making a kid that is unstoppable. That there's nothing they cannot do. That includes going to college. We also are advocating for our senior cadets to be recognized because they're dying on us. And we want them to be Tiger legends. We wanted a wall in Martin High School, just the way they honor the 4A basketball players. If you go to the Beatty and Flores gym, you can look across the gym and you see that their names are big. Well, that inspires the basketball players. But we have had 5 state championships, a 2nd place nationals, and a 1st place nationals, and there's nothing to honor them. Nothing to inspire our kids. But finally, the senior cadets got that recognition, but their letters are this big for their names. But the wall is big, 5 state champions. Finally, they got something. But our fight is not over. These men are dying on us. And we want them to be recognized. For the record, our group is not fighting only for Martin High School. We're fighting for Nixon, Cigarroa, and Martin High School. For the last 3 years, Martin High School alone has beat out athletic scholarships from Martin, Nixon, and Cigarroa combined over $1 million in military scholarships. Athletics can't touch us, but LIC has been spending over $30 million on athletics. And Martin High School, only Martin High School, because through our advocacy working together, we barely got $120,000. So we need to be united in this. We have an oath, a never-ending oath. And I challenge every veteran out there to join us in this fight for advocating for our kids. Because that's all we're doing.
Mr. Reeves.
Thank you.
We have prepared a resolution that we're gonna present to our committee here. And if it passes as a resolution that, you're gonna be taken to LIZ School Board, that this committee is in favor of the needs of the JROTC at Martin High School. When we met several weeks ago, you spoke about specific items that you needed. Can you speak to that so that the members and the public here will know what is it that we're gonna be voting on this resolution, so that we know, or they know, exactly what we are gonna be voting on?
We want facilities, as you know, for restroom showers and lockers. Our kids didn't have access to that till December. We wanted temporary access. We finally got that, but the fight's not over because we want them to start working on giving us a training facility. And if they're not gonna give it to every high school, at least build one at Martin where our kids could train here locally, where we don't have to go out of town, where our families can see our kids compete. Because a lot of these competitions are like 6 hours away. And let's face it, not all parents in Laredo have are able to go visit their kids. So why not have it here? Just like they bring Border Olympics to Laredo, we'll bring the Raider competition to Laredo. Why not? We want a tower, a 45-foot tower. Why is this? okay? It's because that's not just another thing that the kids can conquer that will make them unstoppable. LISD is going to lie to you that we don't have insurance or we're not going to take the liability. A 16-year-old child named Sarah Aker called an insurance company, and this insurance company will sell us liability insurance for $2.35 per student. Martin High School alone has 120 cadets. $2.30 for the whole year, people. For the whole year for the students, for the whole year for any volunteer, for the whole year for every instructor. That's less than $300 of liability that LISD does not want to take, because supposedly their team of professionals cannot find this insurance. I know Mr. Roque Vela has insurance for his zip line at his place. It's not impossible. It's even cheaper for students. But they lie to us and they say we're not going to take the liability. They lie to us, okay? As family members, as parents, we will sign off a waiver as long as my kids get the training they need. The training they need to be successful in life or in the military. So our fight is not over.
So tell us about this tower. Is it one-dimensional?
It's
Exactly
a
what is it?
four-dimensional tower. One side is going to have rappelling. One side is going to have rock climbing. The other side is going to have a zip line, okay? And the other side is going to be like a miniature training to get them into the rappel. It has a little slanted one. Guys, I am really terrified of heights. But I jumped out of airplanes and helicopters for 67 times. 67 times. Because my father took me to a tower and he taught me have faith in my training, have faith in my equipment, and have faith in the person that is helping me. That's what we want to do for our kids. And if they don't join the military, well, guess what? There are jobs out there, okay, that you can get on top of a windmill that pay over $50,000. And all they have to do is have a training certificate. And the training takes a week. And they get to learn all these little things that we teach them in a rappel tower. How to rig up, how to save someone that's in the middle of a rappel that's locked up. All those little things that are taught to cadets. They can learn that and say, you know what, I want to take that certificate and I want to get a job working in the windmills. We got windmills here in our state. But no, LIC doesn't want to take the liability. Well,
Thank you, Mr. Ruiz.
the people of LISD are the children, the students, and the parents. So we must join together with them and fight for their needs. Thank you so much.
Mr. Ruiz, thank you very much. We as veterans know exactly what you're talking about the training that we have. Mr. Quijano?
Yes. May I have words, Mr. Chair?
Absolutely.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, committee members. My name is Ricardo Quijano for the record. And if it's anything for the kids, children, whether it's LISD or UISD, by all means, I say yes. The only thing is, if it's going to be LISD, I suggest, Mr. Chair, bring in all the stakeholders. When I say the stakeholders, is bring in Martin High School, talk to them before. Bring in Martin High School, bring in Nixon High School, and bring in Ciarroa High School. Is this the mission statement from Cadet Command at Fort Knox, Kentucky? Because JROTC, my understanding, and Mr. Ruiz, is correct. They're not here to recruit. I don't know if you know, JROTC is not here to recruit students to join active duty. That is against their rules, right? Their mission statement is to motivate students to become better citizens. It's an elective course, and bringing the parties involved, it'll be the best bet. Because I'm reading here in the resolution, whereas in Laredo, Texas, there are JROTC program available to high school students that provide training to become service member and women to assist in preserving our country. And, right, that's the only thing I would suggest, Chair, Mr. Chair, before making a vote, is having those parties involved and communicating with them. Communication is the best part. I've learned that. It's been hard for me. But communicating with all schools, well, not all schools, but at least LISD. I had some more points, but I'll just leave it as is. Just communication. That's probably the best part, Mr.
The idea, excuse me, the idea of having this training facility, if it becomes available, is to have it, for the district-wide.
Yes.
To be able to train there.
Yes, definitely.
For the sake of finances. We understand how finances work, and there's not an unlimited amount of money in any governmental entity. What this resolution is meant to be is that we as veterans organizations support the enhancement of training facilities for the ROTC or JROTC program at our high school levels. Where it goes from there, you know, it's just gonna go. We don't know what the school boards are gonna do. But if we feel that we need to be able to make the facilities available for our future ROTC members become military, if they so wish, it's not mandatory that they join it.
Oh.
Then we need to be able to have the best available training facilities that we have. And that's what all this resolution says. And if we do pass it, that means that all 11 veterans organizations that we have here believe that they should be given the opportunity to have the best training facility.
Okay.
That's all it says.
Okay.
Whether you want to be a member of the JROTC or not, that's going to be up to
That's up to
each
you.
individual program.
Yeah.
But if you are, then let's give them the best training facilities like we do for everything else that we have for band, football, all sports, which is a very, very integral part of our lives. The military people like to have the military people be athletic. Because we have to, as you well know, if you're not athletic, if you can't move around very well in the combat zone especially, but anywhere in the military, it's detrimental to the unit and to the individual. So if we can make that happen, and I don't know that we can, all we want to say is that we believe that they should be given the opportunity to have the best training facilities.
Yes.
That's all it says.
And all I'm asking also, it's because it's an elective, Mr. Chair, it is an elective, and is just making sure it doesn't go against Cadet Command. What we're doing.
Well,
And because
obviously, yes.
We're military,
Yes.
and there's always, we gotta follow that rank structure, chain of command.
Absolutely.
And we don't want to, for it to clash or contradict what Cadet commands, and then we're saying, that's what I'm just bringing to it.
And I don't think that this resolution says anything to
Okay.
that effect.
That's fine. All righty, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
If you don't mind, I'd like to answer some of his questions.
Sure.
Okay. Cadet Command, this is their statement before we got the obstacle course. It's not a requirement. That was their statement. But if you as citizens can get LISD to get that, we will support you. Okay? Now again, the district came to us and says, Cadet Command is not for it. Okay? They even got the commander from Martin High School to tell us that Cadet Command is frowning upon it. I said, okay, fine. I want it in writing from Cadet Command. And to this day, it's been 6 months, and I haven't gotten anything in writing from the superintendent or from our senior instructor. I talked to Cadet Command myself, me and some parents. We called them. And they said, sir, we're getting this from the district, that you're frowning upon it. Okay? No, so we are not. If you can get LISD to fund this, we will support it. Okay? Now, it's a great idea that he's coming about saying we want all the instructors from every high school. Yes, that's a great idea. But let's face it, the facts here, guys, ladies and gentlemen, is this. There's people that want to work to help out kids, and there's people that just want to pick up their paycheck and they don't want extra work. Okay? They have been invited to fight with us, and they haven't showed up. How would you feel if the football team says, I don't want to go to this football game, the Martin Nixon game, I don't want to go? Is that okay with you guys? I believe not. Some of these organizations from LISD don't take their kids to competition. Our kids went to compete not too long ago. I forgot the name of the city, Rio Grande. Out of Laredo, Texas, only Martin High School showed up to represent. How sad is that? And we have a TA mandate, college, career, military readiness. And those other programs are failing our kids because they don't want to show up, because I don't want to lose my job, because I don't want to ruffle any feathers, because I don't want to make any waves. We've asked them to join us, and they have not shown up. That's the answer. Thank you very much.
Mr. Reeves, thank you very much. Let me just again say that we were approached to see if we can agree to help the JROTC program at Martin High School. By we, I mean myself and the organization that I belong to, the LULAC 777 Council, who is a veterans advocate, had a meeting and voted on whether we want to support a resolution to this effect. The meeting was unanimous in favor of supporting that, and we wrote this resolution. I want to read this resolution for the rest of the organizations that belong to this service or this Veterans Committee. We have spoken to some of you, but not all of you. That's why I'm giving as much time as possible to get the information that we need to have so we can vote on this resolution. The resolution reads as this: whereas the League of United Latin American Citizens, the oldest Hispanic advocacy organization in the United States, having been formed in 1929 in Corpus Christi, Texas, and whereas LULAC Veterans Coalition 77, or Council rather, 777 from Laredo, Texas, was formed in the year 2016 to focus on veterans and civil rights issues. And whereas freedom is not free, because thousands of men and women have lost their lives to defend and preserve the freedom of the United States. And whereas all communities need to endorse the next generation of servicemen and women by supporting JROTC and ROTC programs, and there's a typo there that needs to be taken care of, programs, and ensuring that the training facilities, resources, and financial support required by the JROTC/ROTC programs is provided. And whereas in Laredo, Texas, there are JROTC programs available in high school students that provide training, becoming servicemen and women to assist in preserving our country. And whereas JROTC programs in Martin High School is designated to teach students the importance of citizenship, service, and instill in them the sense of personal responsibility and accomplishments. And whereas there is a need for training facilities and resources to ensure that students enrolled in the JROTC program at Martin High School receive the support required to excel in their training. Now therefore, be it resolved that LULAC Veterans Council 777 supports the establishment of training facilities and support students enrolled in the JROTC program at Martin High School. What this resolution is asking in the motion, in the form of a motion, is that if the rest of the service organizations councils representing this committee agree with this resolution and want to approve it, so be presented to the Laredo Independent School District School Board for their information as to whether they want to continue to improve the training facilities for the JROTC program. This is what this resolution is about. If it's approved, then every single one of us that approve it will be signing this resolution and present it to the Laredo Independent School District. So do I hear a motion to approve this resolution as presented?
Motion?
We have a motion by Güero Segovia to approve. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second.
I have a question.
Question.
We're open for discussion,
Sure.
right? Okay, just wanna, so is it LULAC 77, the resolution, or is it the organization? Because I did see
No,
that.
this resolution written to
So-
us to be presented to all of us.
Right, so and then let's say Laredo Veterans Coalition agrees like with the resolution, would you add, LULAC
Yes.
and Veterans Laredo Coalition?
Every single one will be added to this
Okay.
resolution and signed by the representative.
Okay, that just needed to.
Yeah, this is just a sample resolution, and since we were approached, and we wrote it like that, we took the lead on it, but there will be a page added with the names of every single representative here, organization, and signed by the representative, like we have with other resolutions.
Commissioner, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
In the beginning, it says like whereas LULAC and
Yeah.
whereas LULAC was formed. My suggestion would be to modify that for this committee, or modify that in a way that it include, because then you would have to kind of discuss the purpose of each group, but we could do it maybe as the Laredo Veterans
We-
Affairs Committee, like maybe rewrite that
Laredo.
beginning
We would have to
intro
rewrite it
part.
to have the Laredo Veterans Affairs
Committee.
Committee.
So would we be wanting to approve this one as is, or would we want to be in favor of creating one?
I will
for this?
entertain an amendment to read to that.
Right. That's what I would suggest.
Okay. So there's a motion to amend the resolution that it reflects that the Laredo Veterans Affairs Committee approves this resolution. Do we have a second?
Second?
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Now to vote on the resolution itself, Marshall, I would like to have a roll call,
Yes, sir.
a roll call vote on it, please.
Mr. Gomez from American Legion, in favor or against, sir?
Of the resolution.
Yes. Yes.
As an employee of LISD,
You want to
I really
abstain?
don't know if I think I would abstain.
Yes, sir. Okay. He works for LISD, sir. so-
Right?
Okay, Mr. Segovia, Catholic War Veterans? Favor. The state, oh, no. Mr. Sanchez, Korean War Veteran, Mr. Sanchez? In favor? Mr. Vela?
In favor.
Mr. Alvarez?
Favor?
Mr. Lopez?
100% in favor.
Mr. Salazar? And Mr., oh no, that's it. We don't vote, Mr. Gatsa. Okay.
The resolution passes?
Yes, sir. Motion passed. One abstain.
The motion passes. Thank you very much for everybody, and thank you. And I know that this took a little longer than normal, but what I said from the very beginning, that we're gonna allow enough time to be able to address the issue in its entirety and make sure that we don't leave anything out without any gray areas to be talked about later on. So I appreciate the patience on this. I do believe that it's very important, just like all of you. I would like to expound a little bit on what's going on in the world right now. And believe me, we all know that what's happening in Ukraine can very easily spill over to the rest of the world. And the last thing we need to do, and those of us that have been in countries in combat and know what the citizens of that area go through when they're fighting a war in their backyard, we don't want this to happen here in the United States. We got a little bit of an idea of what happened with 9/11, but that's just a very small part of what goes on in the backyards of this country. So you can see the videos right now in the news media.
Sir,
And at this time of age, it shouldn't be happening.
sir, I forgot to ask Ms. Bettis.
Yes.
Favor?
Yes.
Okay, so
Clerk, another thing, before we go to number 2, Mr. Lopez has a meeting. Can we jump to number 5?
we can have a motion to jump to number 5, to move 5 up on the next item on the agenda.
Second.
Those in favor say aye. Those against, nay. The ayes have it. So we move into item number 5. Discussion and possible action requesting that the city of Laredo provide the percentage of city employees that are veterans. Mr. Lopez?
Yes, sir. Thank you. For the record, Gabriel Lopez. Chair, 5 years ago, I lobbied right here at this very same chambers for a veterans hiring process that will give veterans a preference when it comes to hiring. That was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, if you will log on or you will come and do an application for the city of with the city of Laredo, there was not even an indicator whether or not you were a veteran or not. Veterans preference was nowhere near that. They allowed me to work with HR back then, and we took the necessary steps, and the process was approved by council and by the mayor. That was 5 years ago. What we're asking now, and part of that, the process was that we, the city of Laredo, will try to achieve a goal of maintaining a 20% of the total workforce to be veterans. That 20% is a nationwide number. Austin has 20%, San Antonio has 20%, and the numbers fluctuate, the percentage, as people leave and people come back and whatnot, okay? So we want to maintain that 20%. However, we don't know what percentage of veterans are hired by the city of Laredo. We want to know what is that percentage. And if the reason behind that is because we can then lobby our representatives at the city council to make sure that that program is alive, that that program is being implemented. The federal government gives veterans 5 points preference, 10 points preference if they're disabled. The state does that. Large companies, corporations, transnational corporations gives veterans preference when it comes to their hiring veterans. We want to make sure that the city is holding up to their bargain. We want to make sure that the city is actually doing the right thing. Now, all of you, let's not turn a blind eye. All of us heard of nepotism going around, of favoritism going around, and we're not pointing fingers. That's why that process was implemented, so that each veteran would get a fair share, a shot at obtaining gainful employment with the city. That's all we're asking for. The Laredo Police has a veteran's preference. The fire department has a veteran's preference. And I'm sure they do a fine job because most of them, there's a percentage of them are here. But the city of Laredo has been kept us dark on what are the numbers. Are they actually hiring veterans? Veterans that are fully qualified, returning veterans that have all of the right skills. And we want to make sure that our city is holding up their bargain. The promise that they made 5 years ago, that they will hire veterans, 20% of their workforce will be veterans. Yes, sir.
Why is it that you're only considering the city and why not require that probably from the county as well?
That's, yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I was overwhelmed with work back then, but I can definitely start a process with the county. We'll have to go, I have to go in front of county and ask them to do that program. But this is the city, and, I mean, the city did approve this program 5 years ago.
Let's start with the item on the agenda that you want to know the percentage of city employees that are veterans. Let's start with that, and
Yes,
let's
sir.
see if we can get that information by the next meeting. However, I do agree with you, Mr. Lopez. What I don't want to see is that we have 20% of veterans only because they're veterans. They need to be qualified, so we just can't tie the city or anybody else their hands with that. I agree in following the federal and state procedures of the 5% or 5 points and 10 points. And if they're qualified, they're just gonna get a little extra hand. But we just cannot, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion, we just can't have anybody saying, you have to hire them because they're veterans, because they need to be able to be qualified. But that comes to that with the CDL that we have, that you were talking about. If we can make funds available for some of these veterans to be able to get qualified, that would help in getting this 20%. That if it's not there, it might be there right now,
Yeah,
but we don't know.
The language that is written in the HR, if I recall correctly, is that if all things being equal, if you have candidate A has all the qualifications, okay, and you have candidate B who is veteran and has all the qualifications, and all things are equal, the preference goes to the veteran.
No problems there,
That is
as
exactly
far as
what
I'm
we're saying.
concerned. So let's just go with that, and see if we can get the numbers. And they could be that they're 20% right now, maybe not, I don't know.
Yeah, and if they are, then maybe
And
we
we
need to
have no problem.
congratulate them.
And if
for doing
they're
their job.
not, then we can put an item on the agenda to ratify that.
And, yes, ma'am?
Can I add? When I had asked the city for the list of all the employees who are veterans, they were able to get that list for me within the same day. So we do track that. I can't tell you what the percentage is, but since you seem like since there's a points program for, for tracking this on the application, I think we should make sure that the city asks that in the application process, and then
Yes.
maybe.
No, it is now. I was
Okay.
referring to 5 years ago,
Okay.
when I first came before council and the mayor, they didn't have the designator as a veteran.
Well, we did have a good amount of veterans at the city, so hopefully it'll be around that percentage.
Wow.
Hopefully, we'll get that answered, next meeting.
So would that be something that Mr. Lopez would do a Freedom of Information Act, or is that something our marshal can just
Can get.
request it from HR?
I don't think we need a framework. I think we just approve this item to ask the city for the percentage, and that should be able to be presented.
Would you be able to get that for us?
I could request it. If I run into any hiccups, well,
Yes, sir.
I'll request it. Yeah, I'll request it.
Okay,
Awesome.
call the
Thank
questions. All those in favor of asking the city for the percentage of veterans being employed by the city of Laredo?
Yeah.
Say aye. Aye. All those against say nay. Ayes have it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Now, if y'all excuse me, I have another meeting that I have to attend.
Thank you for
Thanks for
attending.
moving the item up. Thank you. See you next month.
Commissioner, we haven't people here for the Wreaths Across America. I don't know if we're gonna get to everything on the agenda, but can we at least go to item 2 before?
Here, that's what we're heading now.
Okay, awesome.
We have an item, the second item is, discussion and possible action regarding a presentation of Wreaths Across America from Lynette Mead and Michelle Winteroff, and any matters, incidents there too. Ladies, thank you for waiting.
No problem. Thank you for having us here. Want to thank everybody for their service. Thank you. Okay. So I'm Lynette Mead. I'm the local coordinator for Reeves Across America, and this is Michelle Winteroth, and she's extremely excited with me to bring this program here to Laredo. There's not going to be any sound, but. Okay, so Reeves Across America, the founders of Reeves Across America, Merle and Karen Worcester, started their mission over 30 years ago in Arlington National Cemetery, starting with only 5,000 wreaths to honor our veterans, and now, as of last year, over 3,100 cemeteries throughout the United States, and 2.4 million wreaths were laid. Reeves Across America is a nonprofit organization, and it only continues each year due to the community support and our priceless volunteers and family members. The mission of Reeves Across America is to remember the fallen, honor those who serve, teach our children the value of freedom. The goal is not to live forever. The goal is to create something that will. The veterans' wreaths are a symbol of honor, respect, and victory. The living owe it to those who can no longer speak to tell their stories. Together we can do so little, but together we can do so much. The mission is a healing mission. Tell me and I forget. Teach me and I remember. Involve me and I learn. The willingness of America's veterans to sacrifice for our country has earned them our lasting gratitude. The mission of Reeves Across America here in Laredo is to honor our veterans in Laredo, remember our veterans and their families, to give thanks to our brave veterans, to bring their families together, to tell their stories for one cause, to bring the community together, to heal together, a huge community celebration before Christmas, and to get all of the schools, ROTCs, children, they would get community service as well out there in Laredo, to create a respectful, honoring ceremony for generations to come. Bring all of our veterans organizations together, never forget, pride in the community, and to give thanks to all. On a logistics level, it's obviously, you guys know, it's kind of complicated. You know, I have the reef, we already have the truck going to Maine to go bring the reefs down. The truck driver is my husband, who really wants to do this. He's so proud of the military. We even have it wrapped all over our truck. So, of course, logistically, the procession's going to start from Harley, who is a sponsor of Reeves Across America. Also working on HEB, IBC, quite a few local businesses around here to support the Reeves. They say that there are 3,000 veterans buried here between the city and Catholic. Not really sure. The American Legion, a gentleman there, was going to help me find out the exact amount. I could get ROTCs to do community service and to go out there and count how many are actually out there and map it out and locate where they are. So the day of the ceremony, we can be pretty accurate with that. And then, of course, I need a stage, and I wanted to block off the 2 roads between the cemeteries, have the fire trucks up with the flag, and have the truck come through. Just have the whole community out there to support our veterans and honor them in the ceremony. We're going to honor all branches with all of the ceremonial wreaths. And I just think it's extremely exciting to bring it here to Laredo, and I think that it can bring a lot of communities together. And also a lot of veterans that don't get the opportunity to come to these meetings or don't even know about them. Maybe in this community activity, maybe they can reach out and we can find them through that. So then, of course, I'm going to need a day after, maybe after the Reeves are there 2 weeks, because it's hot here. We'll have to pick them up earlier than they do in Arlington. And, you know, I'll need like ROTC or volunteers to help pick up the Reeves and find a way to dispose of them. But I just think overall it's a beautiful honoring of our veterans, and I'd like to get it here. And thanks for listening to me. That's all I have to say right now.
Good morning, everyone, and again, thank all of you for your service. Behind me as well, thank you for your service. So my name is Michelle Winteroth. I'd like to add to what Ms. Mead just talked about. It's very important to honor our vets, but more so to educate the community and beyond for the sacrifice that they have given to all of us. I think that we can all agree that we are free because of all of your sacrifice, and behind me as well. I'm sorry, I get very emotional with these things because I'm extremely pro-vet and military. I just think that our community knows very little about our vets. We were at the air show not too long ago, and we see all these little children and parents and everybody clapping when they see the planes go up in the air and people in uniform. But do they really know what's behind the uniform? Do they understand what it is? I don't think so. I don't think a lot of people understand. And that's where Reeves Across America comes in, because of their mission to, of course, remember, honor, and teach. Laredo has a very rich, and I do mean rich history. I don't mean monetary, I mean rich as in our history. And it doesn't go, nobody recognizes it. So I think that with your help, we can bring the community together to remember, honor, and teach. Not only for us today, but for generations to come. Thank you.
Thank you both.
Ma'am, just to let you know, ma'am, Ms. Mead,
Yeah.
when the time gets closer, we need to talk to the traffic department. You mentioned about shutting down some streets and stuff, right? So we need to,
I'm hoping to, at least between the two cemeteries, because the truck obviously can't fit in any of those streets, so if it rolls in there, and of course I'm gonna have the Patriot riders and motorcycles and police cars, you know, the whole
Yeah.
thing.
So
If we're
we're-
gonna do it, let's,
so we're gonna need to talk to other departments, like the traffic department, barricades, whatever we need. We can't just do it that same day. We need planning of some
oh,
weeks
absolutely,
ahead.
and of course, like spotted potties, you know, I want some food trucks around there, just, you know, the ceremony could last quite a while, depending on how
Sure.
many we have, and of course, the ceremony itself, which I have, is at least an hour, but then there's little divots in it, like, you know, the color guard doing this, and the ceremonial wreath here, and I'm gonna have the Gold Star moms, of course, our newest one, which, anyway, I'm gonna have her there as well. I'm gonna ask her to speak. I hope that she does. I'm going to dinner with her tomorrow. And then I plan on having all of the Gold Star families, whether it's mothers, fathers, sisters, since they're grave specific, I want them to get their wreaths first. So as the whole public goes out there, I don't want, you know, their loved one to be covered from someone else. I want them to be able to have the opportunity to do it. And then, of course, in a presentation as well, as far as that, I would love taps to be played with the bugler after. Oh, there you are. Okay. Well, you had the mask on when I was talking to you. But I just think that would be a great tribute to them and their families and all of the families. And anything else?
Thank you.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. No doubt that this is a great program, and it's a tribute to our veterans that are no longer with us. But what day do we normally have this date?
Well, this year it's December 17th. It's usually a Saturday, like a week or two before. It usually falls right around the same time.
Why November the 17th?
December the 17th.
Or December the 17th?
Are you going to ask me why that date? That date, I'm not really sure. The Reeves Across America, they started it.
I was just wondering if there's a specific meaning for that date. It's not important. I'd just like to know.
No, because it's usually just the Saturday, like 2 weeks before Christmas, well, 10 days before. So it might fall on the 20th. It just depends on.
Obviously, there's a cost to all of this.
Well, there is.
How is this particular program financed?
It's all volunteer. Everything is volunteer. My husband going up there to get the Reeves, I mean, it's going to cost him $2,000 or more.
Sure.
Because of the gas now. But he does this every year out of his heart. In Arlington National Cemetery, where the video was, all the volunteers, oh my God, there must be 150,000 volunteers there. Businesses, usually, I'm asking for sponsorships. Once I get the word out media-wise, then we can get the community as well. We have 3,000 veterans that I know of, but I'm hoping the American Legion ROTC can help me figure out what the actual number is so I know how many we need. It's $15 a wreath. We have organizations in our sponsorship that say if the Boy Scouts want to do a fundraiser, they can get $5 back. So if they get a wreath for $15, they get $5 back for their whatever they're doing or whatever they would like to raise money for. So it's kind of just raising money, getting the word out there, and the rest is volunteer. Now, of course, money-wise, I'm assuming that when the spotted putties come out, the employees are paid to put them out there, or the officers when they close the roads.
Well, I understand the volunteer, and the reason I ask that is because this committee has no budget. I mean, we don't have access to.
Well, I don't either, so.
Yeah, no, I understand, but I need the record to show that.
Right.
How long does the wreath stay there?
Well, it's hot down here. Typically, in Arlington and all of these northern states, they lay them on the 17th and pick them up a month later on the 17th of January. It's impossible for that to happen here. It's too hot. I don't want them to look all.
They'll
So-
wilt. The wreaths are fresh.
Yeah.
It's fresh pine, so they will wilt.
So I'm assuming that we're gonna have to go out earlier, maybe around the 6th or whatever that weekend falls after the New Year.
Well, around December, it only gets up to 90,
So we do have a link with Wreaths Across America, and that link, what it does is it makes it so that whoever orders or sponsors a wreath from that link, they come directly to Laredo. Through that link as well, people can volunteer to do the pickup, to lay the wreaths and for other things.
This is
Is that the link? I'm sorry to interrupt you, ladies. Is that the link down here in the?
Yeah, and you have to have the TXL RDO, Texas Laredo,
That
or
ensures
it
that.
won't credit
That
here.
it goes, that it comes here to
But
our.
San Antonio has done it, Corpus Christi has done it, Dallas, Houston. I wanted to bring it here because actually I've only lived in Laredo for 3.5 years, but I find it quite charming. You know, it's little, which I really appreciate that I can't get lost. It only takes me 15 minutes to go from one side to the other. And I'm either in Mexico, which I know I'm lost, or I'm going back up. So it's great, you know, and community wise, I think this would be a great gathering for the community and the kids. Yes.
I would like for y'all to coordinate with the city cemetery, with the Catholic cemetery.
Yeah, I've
because they
already
have
talked to
their-
Santos in the
they
city
have-
one, but I do have to get, he's all for it. But I do have to get written permission, and I do know a lot of logistics will be with them and the Catholic.
Because they pick up at certain time of the year and certain time of the month. So coordinate with them when they pick up the wreath.
So what are the wishes of the guests?
I have a question. How many wreaths do you have sponsored right now?
189.
189.
And that's just me and her blabbing. That's all that was.
And there's about what, 13?
3,000, she said.
3,000 more or less, okay. So then I'm gonna take it that your goal today is to spread awareness, right? And try to get every single grave site with a wreath on it for the holiday season, right?
Yes.
And so I would say that maybe right now for us to kind of, help them with trying to accomplish this task, but as we get closer to the time frame, I think it would help to bring an update as far as letting us know, like, okay, now we have all 3,000, or our goal is accomplished, so that maybe we can pass a resolution like closer that we can get the city council to support the closing of the streets and all the logistical things.
Yeah.
So that would be my suggestion, is for you all to come back around October-ish, so we can get that.
Well, I don't know,
going.
that might be, I have to get all the money in by November, if we could maybe make that September-ish,
Okay.
just to make sure.
That's fine.
That I'm on target.
Yeah, because if we do it now, it's gonna be, and then we have,
Right.
so it would probably be better closer to the time for that. But I think for now, it's great for us to start spreading the word, letting everybody know that this is coming.
So.
So I also think that right now it's just a motion to approve this program. Sure, go ahead.
I think you're Miss Mead, and you are Miss
Miss Winterroth.
Winterroth?
Winterroth.
Winter Roth.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Just want to commend you all in starting, we're in March. That is exactly how it should be done, starting now. You probably started a month ago, maybe even 2. Then to be starting in September to have it done in December. So I just wanted to commend you ladies on that and appreciate it. I think it's a great program. I think our councilwoman is correct. Let's bring it back then, but let's get together and continue to promote this event coming up and support it.
It's funny,
Appreciate
my
you
husband
ladies.
has lived here for almost 20 years, and he fell in love with Laredo, and not too long ago, we were sitting there, and we always go to Arlington every year, drive the truck in. It's such a humbling thing. I can never keep a dry eye. I don't know how I'm gonna MC, because I can't really do it, but.
A very good friend of mine is buried in Arlington, so
Oh, it's breathtaking. I mean, I would like to make our event,
yeah.
obviously, it's not gonna touch that degree, but it will touch that degree with our community if we make it that way.
Right.
Yes, I noticed that you were just placing the wreaths in front of the headstone. Is there a possibility to put, let's say, like a rubber band or something, and put it around the headstone so they won't fly away?
Well, they won't, because they have the metal on them. They really don't. I mean, they're all throughout, 3,100 cemeteries throughout the United States.
They don't fly away.
I don't, I haven't
They're-
been told that that's a problem.
No, it wouldn't be because Arlington National Cemetery sends us the headstones. So they're the standard. If they're dress to standard from Arlington National Cemetery, the ones we have in the city and in the Catholic cemetery. So those are two standards. So if they're already designed and set like that, we're not gonna have an issue of flying out if they're not flying off
No.
over there, so,
Well, they've been doing it for 30 years. They started out with 5, and
right.
it's grown
So it's the
from
same
that point.
headstone, they're the ones that bring it to us and create it
Yeah.
to Laredo, so.
Yeah, well, here in the radio, you might see them hanging at some doors.
And that might be another thing, but that might be another item.
I think that
Well,
we should,
somebody sponsored it, so.
I think that we should have a motion to support this program and that would, that the service organizations or the City of Laredo Veterans Affairs Committee, agrees and supports, this program, and I'll entertain a motion to that effect.
Make a motion to support the program?
There a second?
Second.
And a second, all those in favor of supporting the Wreath Across America's program, please say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay? The ayes have it. Ladies, thank you very much, and
Thank you,
again, we
too.
appreciate the work that you do.
Sir, can you just mention, if anyone's watching, how they could donate through the website? There is a website that you told me at the air show, right?
At the very bottom,
Yes, but the people that are watching that are not here,
Oh, they're on
that-
TV.
can you spread the word to them how they could do it?
On your TV?
No, you're on TV.
You're on TV.
Hi.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, if you would like to sponsor for Reeves Across America, you would go to reevesacrossamerica.org/TXLRDO. That is for our location here in Laredo. And if you have any questions in that or as well, my email also is in there and my phone number on the website. And of course, I think yours is
Yes,
too.
mine is as well.
I'll post it on my campaign page.
So basically, that's
Thank
what
you.
we're really here for, to get your support, so you guys
Spread
can
the word.
spread the word as
Absolutely.
well.
Yes, Albert here just told me he was gonna donate for 2.
Yay.
Thank you.
Well, if you go to one of our groups, it's 2 for 3.
All right.
So for every 2 that's donated, the company will give us 1 free.
Oh, wow.
So you don't have to do 2, like if you did 1 and you did 1, then the company automatically knows and they give us an extra 1.
Yeah, but it has to be under the group,
Yeah, under the
sponsor,
group.
so.
No, we'll do 3.
I will post that on my page, and then if you all follow, you can share it, or however you all wanna do it, and then we can just spread the word.
Well, thank you so much, and
Thank
any
you.
ideas that you all have for the ceremony day? Now, I do have a national script to follow. It's throughout the United States, we all follow the same script for Reeves. But there's little divots in there that we can add our own little flair here. So, any ideas?
I'll work with you all on
I
that.
think it would be awesome. I'm really excited, so thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, we have, discussion with possible action regarding the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Walking Trail and any matters incident thereto. Mr. Segovia?
Record again, Jesus Segovia. I met with Councilman Ruen
Gutierrez.
Gutierrez. I met with him 3 days ago at the park next to the library on McPherson. Originally last year, or when Dr. Mate Martinez became city councilman for the North Central Park area, Cavazos Engineering did a design for a walking trail, which was a design made like of the South Vietnam. You know, it's a walking trail designed like South Vietnam. Now, that land was already taken up to do a something for the
Shop.
for the needy or for the less.
Yes, sir, there was a park for ADA.
Yeah, okay. It's a park for that, which is a much better idea. That, Brandon, that's a beautiful idea. So, started looking around, and I told Mr. Jimenez that I like that area behind, next to the library, Guerra Library. And he said that there was talks on that land that they wanted to build a fire department there, a fire station. And so I said, well, there goes. And then Mr. Jimenez found me another spot, but that was on the other side of Route 20 over there by Academy, on that side over there, which was pretty far for any of us to go out there. I know we have a walking trail at North Central Park. I know we have a walking trail in Bartlett and several others, but this is what's going to be a special designated walking area. Something that us veterans can, and especially at our age, okay? Something that we can go in there and see the whole trail, say, oh, yeah, pues I can walk that, Not like the other ones where you don't never see the end of it, okay? So anyway, last year I asked Mayor Pete Sines, he said, talk to your councilman. So I did. I got a hold of Gutierrez, Councilman Gutierrez, and we met out there the day before yesterday, and he told me that you all had already been tossing the idea around that about that walking trail, and so according to him, it's a go, according to him, and that it's already been approved, and it's going to be, in my opinion, very, very nice walking trail from what he told me about it. And so I had suggested originally, Vietnam Veterans Memorial Walking Trail. And I said, you know what? I texted him last night. I said, look, forget the Vietnam Veterans Walking name on it, because he wanted to name it a different name. But I have reservations, or there might be a lot of controversy to the name that he suggested. So I texted him again, and I told him that that there would be a little controversy with the name that he has, according to what he told me. And so I suggested that to think about the name Hometown Heroes Memorial Walking Trail. That way it'll cover all branches and all ethnics and ethnicities of everybody that served. That would cover all the branches of government. And it'd be, if we were to name it Hometown Heroes Memorial Walking Trail. And so that's where we're at right now.
So, Mr. Segovia, if I'm understanding correctly, so is it still gonna be Vietnam, or like
No,
now
I
it
told
would
him
be?
I told him last night to forget the name Vietnam.
So it would be like the police department that were killed in action, fire department, that, or just military? Because you said all government agencies, so I'm not too sure.
Well, I think if you call it Hometown Hero.
Yeah, you said all government agencies, so I'm not too sure if you mean
I'm talking
police
about all
department.
government branches.
Oh, okay, so
Yeah,
not
if
agencies.
we were to name it Hometown Heroes Memorial Walking Trail,
Okay.
that would cover Army, Marines, Navy, Air
Yes,
Force,
okay.
everybody, ¿verdad?
Yes,
And
yes.
Hispanics, Negros, todo, all
Got it.
ethnic. And that way you don't name it after just one particular, branch. Right?
Okay.
And so, and he has a lot of good, ideas for that particular place.
Yeah, Mr. Segovia, is it still gonna be the Vietnam outline, even though this?
He said we can work with that outline. He said the outline is great, because Cavazos Engineering did that for me, of course, free of charge. And Cavazos Engineering offered on their behalf to establish or build a flag disbursement, flag retirement pit, where the Boy Scouts can do that on Flag Day, which is, I believe, June 14 every year. I believe Flag Day is June 14. It doesn't matter what day it falls on, but it's June 14. And on that day, if you Google it, you'll see throughout the nation that on Flag Day, it's an event for Boy Scouts to go out there and participate in the flag retirement. It's a beautiful thing, And so the Kiwanis offered to build that on their own, okay?
Nice.
And Councilman Gutierrez liked the idea. And the only thing I asked him for was to, in other words, there's a lot of mezquites out there, and I told him we need to leave those mezquites and preserve them. The only thing we need to do is trim them down para que salgan bonitos para arriba, but at the same time, I want to add 27 oak trees, and I'm looking for a particular oak tree that doesn't have that semilla, esa fea, ¿verdad? And the reason that I'm looking for 27 oak trees is to name each one, since I'm not going to put the name Vietnam veterans on there, uh, uh, that oak tree will be named after the 27 veterans that died from Laredo in Vietnam. Okay? One tree representing each veteran. Now, later on, if somebody else wants to add another tree and honor that particular veteran, you know, it's open, you know. But the design that I had, that Cavazos Engineering did for me, it had all the 27 trees equally spaced out, you know. And next to each tree was going to have a plaque with the name of the veteran when he entered Vietnam, when he lost his life, and if he lost his life through small arms, and all the information about that veteran next to the tree, okay? And of course, benches throughout the walking trail, so you know you can sit down and take a break or whatever. But it's going to be a beautiful walking trail. Other ideas that we talked about the walking trail is that perhaps, and I'm sure Vanessa knows, is that clean out an area where on Saturdays and Sundays, those portable taco trucks can go out there and vender tacos a los que quieran. One thing we do not want there is barbecue pits y todo eso, que no se haga borracho. And no liquor, nothing allowed. The lighting will be beautiful lighting, not the type that you see everywhere. It'll be a very nice design lighting, and it should be a really, really nice. Now, he also tossed the idea around, since we have a farmer's market downtown once a month?
Yeah.
He said maybe move the farmer's market over there once a month also, and it's within a centrally located area for Laredo, and I think it'd be a great idea. So, God willing, that idea will become a reality, and we'll go forward. Thank you.
Can I add something to that? You know, where you were talking about the trees, we could have a remembrance trees for remembrance, and then people can actually make dog tags and put the names of their soldiers or who they're remembering on the trees. So it's a remembrance.
Ideas can be submitted so that we can work on it.
I just think that would be another way to,
Yeah.
you know, individually, people can go up and they can create their remembrance on this tree of their personal dog tags.
Thank you, Widow. Anybody else would like to speak on this item? Well, this item has no action required. It was just an update on this walking trail. It is a project that is moving along from one place to another because of trying to find the best place and best location for it. So thank you very much, Widow, for your information. So we're going to the next item on the agenda is discussion with possible action regarding an update on the Soldiers Cross Monument and any matters incident thereto. Mr. Alvarez?
This monument has already been approved, and we're just waiting for the wording. They have a plaque that says all gave some gave all, and then all the service emblems of the armed forces, the Army, Navy, Marine, Air Force, Coast Guard. Underneath, I asked them to put for all those who served. So they're waiting for that wording. And we're gonna get a hold of John, well, they were gonna get a hold of John Orfidia to find a place to put it. There's suggestions that put it in front of the Palapa, or right next to the monument that says Hall of Heroes. The you know what the Soldier's Cross looks like, right? The rifle, helmet, boots. The wreath is normally placed in front of the flag, American flag, so I suggested, well, there could be another location in front of the flag to put the service cross. So that's in the workings right now, but it's already a done deal, except for where to place it, and that's going to be up to the city.
So Just a clarification on this. So we've been working on this since the meeting of September 15th, I think it was. I was able to get the fundings. Yeah, I know, I sent it. So it would look like this. The wording of, would you like me to take it up there? So everybody can see it?
Yes, that would be great.
All right.
Absolutely.
Okay, let me bring it up here.
This is what I was talking about.
So, good morning to all. So more or less, this is what it's gonna look like. I'm not too sure how to work this.
You're good, sir. You're
You're
good.
good.
Obviously the helmet is there. So it's the wording that says there, some gave, all gave some and some gave all. It's just a picture that we had gotten to work with it. And it's being, paid for and, through my office and the office of the county judge. He's the one, sponsoring the project. It comes out to about $13,000. We've gone out for bids already, so we're at the stage that we wanted to already have it done and start the order to it. And the wording that I believe, and it goes something like this, I believe it was, that we're still looking at and trying to figure out. So instead of saying some gave all and all gave some, Mr. Alvarez, what was I think it was, I did my duty, I paid the supreme price. I pray you all remember my sacrifice. My life was short. I did my best. God grant me peace in my eternal life. That was one that was tossed around, and then there was another saying that you said it that day there at the commissioner's court, Mr. Alvarez. Can you?
Well, how about,
Can you
how
read
about,
it?
how about this?
Yes,
Land of the free because of the brave.
I mean, it would be up to whatever we decide to put on there. That was just one suggestion. I like that suggestion also.
It's
Mr.
part of the
Alvarez
Star Spangled
actually
Banner, yeah.
put up a suggestion that day that I think was pretty good. It was part of a prayer, more or less.
It's part of the Star Spangled Banner.
No, not what Mr. Alvarez suggested.
No, the one, land of the free because of
Yes.
the braves.
Do you remember it, Mr. Alvarez? Do you want to give it a shot?
There's no greater love than he who gave his life for his fellow man.
Something to that effect. It's on the minutes. It's on there. We're trying to get it. So those are more or less the options. We would just have to decide which way we want to go. The funding's already identified. We already went through the 3 bids, and now it's just kind of finishing that off. And then once that's finished up, hopefully with the coordination of the city, they can allow it to be put at the cemetery, because obviously we have to get permission from the city. We can't just say we're gonna put it there, at the city cemetery, at the right location.
I already spoke with Mr. Orfila on the location, and he suggested to be at the entrance of the pavilion, Heroes Pavilion.
Okay.
That's what he recommended,
We
but
discussed that
So I
also.
think at this point, the last things we should have to identify would be those additional wordings. And, Mr. Silva?
You need to add, space,
Space Force.
you got, Army, Marines, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard, and you need to add, Space Force.
Space Force.
Correct. So again, this is just what we got. This is not the final product. You know, this is the picture that we introduced
Space Force.
to the commissioner's court and the judge to make sure, that they liked it. And, so it's broken down into 3 main pieces, or 3 main pieces. One, I don't know how good it's gonna come out on there. Oh, yeah, it actually came out pretty good. So where it says Cap B, that's the piece that y'all were seeing. Then you have cap A, which is the battlefield cross, and that's pure granite. And then obviously and, the whole soldier's cross. So there's where we're trying to, sorry,
Commissioner, can I ask a question?
yes?
Sure.
Mr. Garza, so this is already funded, this is already paid for, this would come into the city as a donation from the county or from your office, or who would be is that what it is? It's a donation to the city? Because I can place that on the agenda for Monday to accept the donation, and then how do you,
I can get
how do you
back
wanna
to you
work
on that. I don't want to speak out of line. Not sure if it would, like, how, we're not asking the city to put any money. It's already done. We already identified the funding. So I'm not too sure if that would be the right word, or if it's a collaboration. to
Yeah,
work.
because I think that if it's gonna be placed at the city, I would
Yeah,
have
it
to
has
take it
to
to
be.
council, and I think we would have to accept it as a donation.
Okay.
But does that help in moving the process forward, because that way you can start assembling it at the city? Or do you need to have it all ready and then donate it as one final piece?
So that's the last part missing is the wording. The funding's identified. We already got the company that's gonna do it, how they're gonna design it. It's, just wanna make sure, I guess, and that's why I'm not too sure on the wording before we put it on there, but I can get with you, I can find out from my legal and, get back with you later on today and see if it would be like that, a donation, or, I don't really know the language to put on there. But as soon as we decide the quote, and I'm gonna defer the quote to Mr. Alvarez, cause they, the commissioners court asked him to, what he would like to put on there, and obviously he was gonna bring it to us here at the meeting.
Okay.
So that's basically it. We're almost ready to start, just need to,
This is the wording that I was looking at.
Oh, okay.
And on the granite, on the bottom of the Soldier's Cross, it says Soldier's Cross. And I said, no. Everybody knows that it's a Soldier's Cross. I wanted to put, because on the brass plaque, it says all gave some gave all.
yeah, that was gonna be removed. That's
Standard. But underneath, where on the granite, did you put it up? Underneath where it says Battlefield Cross, instead of wording Battlefield Cross, the wording, I would like to see, no greater love than he who gave his life for his God and country.
So I think that wording was gonna be placed on from my understanding, and we can get together after this, no need,
Because that's,
on the, where the bronze plaque is at.
because they would be adding too many words to the plaque, the bronze plaque.
It's
It's perfect the way it is, all gave some gave all. Dedicated to the memory of all those proudly served to protect our country, covers every serviceman, every war. But underneath, where it says Battlefield Cross, that's where I wanted to put, there's no greater love than he who gave his life.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Sure, go
Is
ahead.
there any reason why you can't engrave something on all four sides, like a
We
different? Could you have like a different quote on each four sides, and then maybe the front? Is there any way that maybe for the next meeting we could have some options
so-
that the committee can vote
Right,
on,
the
like which
committee can vote
one
on
they
it.
prefer? So maybe 4 options, and then we can take a vote and have everybody decide, and then move forward like that.
It's a great idea.
We're open with it. Like I said, the funding's been identified. We've already went for the bids and all that. Just really need the quote at the end of the day. And then obviously, however the wording has to come into city council, we do that, accept it, and then we can go ahead and place the
So we
order.
finalize it the next meeting by taking the vote, and then from there, we can, I can take it to council in April, accept the donation, and then it can get built, but then when it's finished, we'll already have that council, vote hopefully in favor to accept it and
Yeah,
kind of move forward.
Definitely,
Okay,
that'll work.
okay.
Yeah, that's another item we can have for the agenda next month.
And I'll bring up, like an aerial view from where it's gonna be. Maybe we could, like she said, put maybe three sites, a quote on three sites. I don't know about the back, cause there may be something back there, but,
And I have
but
the
I'll bring something.
dimensions too, so I can give you those so you can get to Mr.
Orfila?
Orfila, yeah.
Okay.
He's always real good, with stuff like that.
And we should ask him to be here also, Mr. Orfila, next.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I have the dimensions,
Think it'll be quicker.
I can email you the dimensions,
Yes, sir.
and then, we'll forward them from there. Are there any other questions? Yes, oh,
Well, my question was, to begin with, there's a memorial right there that says Heroes Hall at the entrance to the, Palapa. On top of the Heroes, you saw how it has granite?
I'll put it back up. Sorry, do you want me to move it up, down, or is that okay?
Move it up,
This
the other
way,
way.
like this?
the other way.
The other way, like this?
Okay, see the granite where it says Battlefield Cross?
Yes.
There's one that has Heroes Hall, that's it, already there. Right?
But that's gonna remain there. That's
Yeah,
gonna stay.
Yeah,
Yeah, because that's the name, if I'm understanding
That's
correctly,
the name of the.
that's the actual name of the
For
pavilion.
the pavilion and
Yeah,
that
so
area,
that-
yes.
So we wouldn't put it on there. So the quotes we got includes the marble. The only thing that it might not include, and I would have to double check on it, it might not be the slab it sits on, but the city did it for our Gold Star Mother monument that we did,
At the plaza.
at the plaza in September. So, I mean, it's not or
Well,
we can get a private donor to do it out.
Well, we could include that when it comes to city council
Yeah.
as including for city council to approve, you know, the concrete slab through the public works department.
Or if not, I mean, we'll fund it.
Yeah, I think when we met with John, well, I think you were there also, and he said that he could take care of that también, ¿verdad? The concrete through the city of Laredo, rather. You know, so that,
The other monument?
yeah, where the monument is gonna be sitting on, you know, put a concrete slab, kind of raise it up. And he said that the city of Laredo, probably through his department or somebody's department could take care of that. That's really not a major.
Right, that's why I wasn't
Yeah,
worried
it's
about
not a
it.
major
It's just-
thing, so.
But it does need to happen, because if they need to, I don't know if it's placed on grass and they need to cut it, it needs to be above that, so they.
Sure, yeah, it needs to sit up high. You know, just how high is something that
Yeah.
that is really not that critical.
Yes, sir.
Great presentation by everybody. Thank you very much. Okay. So, last item on the agenda, it's an item that we've been discussing now for several months. Discussion and with possible action regarding the update on the tiny homes project and any matters incident there too. Mr. Salazar, Mr. Quijano.
For the record, Victor Salazar, VFW, and good morning, actually good afternoon, Warriors. Thank you for having us here today. It's been a while since we got to meet like this, so thank you so much. With me, I have my Vice President here, Mr. Enrique Quijano. And real quick update, no action is really needed on this, but I just wanted to update you all on the progress of the tiny home project. It's definitely progressed. We haven't publicized this, but we have 2 of the tiny homes already in Laredo. They're being housed at a private business. And right now, we are currently working with the City of Laredo Development Department to bring the other 8 here. That's all contingent on the MOU that we work out with them. So we are currently in the process of working with an MOU with the City of Laredo Development Department and our organization. So right now, it's just a matter of waiting until we get that signed by all parties. Let's see, what's next on the list? We have obtained a location, a possible site, that's gonna be at the Lafayette, Street, over the, overpass. I'm sure y'all are familiar with that area down there, right by the water bank. And, it's a beautiful location. We are possibly, working on getting half that lot there on the Lafayette side, on the overpass. And that should hopefully fit the tiny homes where we can allocate resources to the homeless veterans. And we are working with the city as well to determine who would be a designated veteran to be able to receive this gift, this tiny home. We are right now giving ourselves a deadline of 4 months. Again, this is all preliminary, but we're making motion, we're making headway, and as of now, things are going great. But as we continue to progress, I will definitely update this council. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm sure you
I
have.
have a question on the MOU. Who's bringing that to council, or is it coming on Monday, or is that still pending?
It's
or-
still pending.
Okay.
We have not signed it yet. Mr. Garza, do you have any update on that?
No,
Mr.
I was, the last update I have on that, we brought it up to that department, and everything was good to go. We just gotta sign it, and then I'm assuming Tina would bring it to council, I
I
think,
believe
but we
Tina
Or I
from the
probably
can-
should
Development
get.
Department would bring it to council.
Either her or I can too.
Okay,
That'd be
so
fantastic.
Yeah.
We'll bring it to you.
I know we were pending the land last time, right? So
Yes.
is that taken care
That's
of?
taken care
And the plumbing and all that's done? That's what I was,
So first we gotta sign the MOU.
MOU
That
has to
was
be
the-
done
That
first
was
before
the
any
thing we
action
had to
is
do.
done.
okay, but it's city property.
It's city property. It's over it's not, it's Saunders, but I think on this side of the highway, it's like Lafayette. It's over
It's over
the,
the overpass.
over the overpass.
Lafayette and Santa Maria, I believe, that area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm fine bringing it, to council as, so we can get them to,
That'd be great. And if we
move it
can,
forward, but just.
if we can coordinate with your office and as well as Councilwoman Ciarroa, since it's her district. We met with her last week, I believe, and I just kept her apprised of the situation, but if we can just meet so we're all on the same page moving forward, that'd be phenomenal.
Well, thanks for all that work. I know that was like, it's been a while
It's
since we
been
talked
a-
about it, but
It's been tough.
I know we got stuck on where they were gonna go, but I'm glad that we've got all
So,
that
so
figured
let me
out.
just say something. Mr. Salazar is being very modest. He said it's all going great. It's been a battle, but we
Fubar,
have
gentlemen.
2 homes
Fubar.
here. We've got the land. We're moving forward. We're at the MOU stage. So for him to say it's been a battle, but I admire the part that he's saying,
It's
going
been a
smooth,
labor of love,
It-
and there's been
but
countless.
we're good to go.
Definitely, there's been countless man hours, and I definitely want to highlight Mr. Garza's effort as well as Mr. Quijano's efforts. They've been instrumental in getting this mission accomplished, and we're not there yet, but the battle is still going, and as long as there's homeless veterans out there in the city of Laredo, the battle's going to continue going for us.
Yeah, but there for a while, it didn't seem it was gonna get anywhere. So you all have done some great work, no doubt about that, but just for information, who is gonna be managing or administrating this particular project as far once it gets going and?
Absolutely. It's going to be a co-effort between the city of Laredo and VFW, and a new organization came to fruition out of this whole ordeal. Nonprofit emerged out of this, so we can be able to facilitate those services for the veterans. And it's still too early on to discuss that right now. I just don't want to say more than should be said at this moment. When we get more information on that, we'll address it with this.
And that's why it's important that we can get all funds available for the benefit of the veterans under one-stop shop type situation we're talking about here, because that way you can be taking care of everything here at one time.
So
100% agree, and I hope we do put that on the next agenda, the
Absolutely.
one-stop shop.
So
Yeah.
one of the things that we can do, and preliminary, just throwing an idea from what Mr. Segovia said earlier, we can, in our discussions we've had in our subcommittees, we can maybe use one of those tiny homes for a one-stop shop kind of office.
Absolutely.
Obviously, just preliminary, just throwing it out there, we would have to sit and make sure that it's gonna follow all the rules and regulations that are already in the MOU that we're working on and almost ready to sign.
So you have 10 units right now?
We have 10 units, 2 of which are in Laredo. Once we sign that MOU, that's when action will start, will get started. The architect will go out there, observe the home, see if there's any updates that need to be done for the home, and then we can start transporting the other 8 to Laredo.
So I know that at one time there was a substantially more homes available. Are still some available, or are they all gone now?
They're not all gone. They're still available, but again, it's all contingent on these first 10.
Sure, no, I understand.
Let's call this a beta test for the city of Laredo. We can do this accomplish this mission with these 10 homes, we have the potential of getting more homes and working with the city, county.
To get more land.
To get more land.
The
Land
other piece
acquisition
to
is-
that,
yeah,
sorry.
exactly.
I apologize. The other piece to that is the land we have, off the top of my head, fits about 8, maybe all 10, but for sure 7, 8. So we cannot even ask to take, let's just say, the other 50 or another 10 or 20 or 30, because we might not have the land for it yet. So once we're moving forward on it, we gotta set this right and do it right to set precedent, so they can see that we're not just talking, that we're doing what we say we're gonna
Sure.
do. And then hopefully the city, the county, or LISD, UISD, whatever agency or philanthropist wants to donate some land for that, but I think they need to see it first and not just hear it.
No, I understand, but the reason I picked up on that is what you said about using one of those as the office for the ones.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
And that could be separate, that could be in an area where there's public transportation and a lot of amenities there. You could be at the park. It could be in several different locations where we could get an additional one just for that purpose in a centralized location where transportation is not an issue. Because
Right.
that's an issue with some of the veterans, is transportation.
Yes, sir.
And in that area, I think that there's not that much transportation.
No,
public
there should be,
transportation.
because there's another, city housing apartments or something, like, literally
Okay.
across the
Right
street.
across the street from
Okay,
there.
but
Yeah.
that's why I was leading, not so much to have an additional 8 or 10, just that one more,
one more.
and maybe place it in a different centralized location.
Maybe in the location where Mr. Segovia was.
That's what I was
saying,
talking
yeah.
about, maybe in the park area, it could be used for many different things.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Yes.
So how many acres is the lot that we're talking about for these 10? How many acres did the city give for
It's,
that?
the one we're currently working on right now is half a block.
Okay, so it's half a block.
So it's about
About 150 by 150.
23,000 acres, I believe, 24? Not acres,
Not
I believe.
acres.
I apologize, feet, square feet, square feet, I apologize, square feet. So a little bit less, or right about half an acre, more or less.
Okay,
And then we have to have, the closest we can bring the houses to each other is, we've already went to planning and zoning, Mr. Quijano, right?
Yes.
And- Yeah, and they said, that, the standard, I think, is 6,000, but maybe because they're tiny homes, they can work with us and maybe have 4,500 square feet, 4,500 square feet in between.
but they can actually go less because we have the PUDs and we have other things where
Yes.
you can
Right,
have
yes.
like 2,000 per, like something.
That would be with planning.
Yeah,
Really,
well-
that's what they were telling us, that's what they can work with, and then obviously once they actually see it, they can say, okay, let's work with PUD, I think you said.
Yeah, it's like a PUD overlay that you can get so that each maybe, like, you would treat it kind of like a townhome where it would just be a little yard kind of
Commercial,
thing.
yes,
kind
yeah,
of thing.
you're
So
right.
we might be able to kind of get more, but is there room for growth beyond that
In that
section
area?
that's
That area,
designated?
no.
Okay.
Absolutely not.
So, I was even thinking maybe instead of, designating a house for an office, maybe we could, do like the mobile services that can come like once a week or something like that.
That's exactly what we were thinking about, and that's what we were allocating that one specific singular home for. Supportive services, so we can have supportive services go out there weekly, bi-weekly, et cetera, to provide services for our homeless veterans, or not homeless anymore, but at that point, but yes.
Okay, well, awesome. Thank you for all your work. I appreciate it.
Appreciate that, thank you so much.
Thank you very much, appreciate it. Sure, we're gonna adjourn. Okay. So, again, thank you for your time. It's been a very worthwhile meeting while we were gone for 3 months.
Yes.
Any other questions, comments?
I have a comment, Commissioner. I'd like to just recognize all the women veterans. Today's International Women's Day, so I just want to thank all the women veterans out there and, recognize them today for all their service and honor them.
Me too.
Okay.
Thank you.
Have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
First and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those against, nay. I don't hear any. Wow.
I don't hear any.
Mr. Gomez, usted entra
Motion,
a la una, right?
meeting adjourned. Thank you very much. We'll see you next month, God willing.